You already know what time it is. Welcome into the first ever instant reaction on the NFL with AJL. Just got done watching Colorado and USC, like many of you people probably did not long ago. Wanted to jump on the podcast here and let you guys know exactly how I felt about the game right after it happened, because what a college football game we had unfold. Again, the first ever instant reaction. This isn't an official podcast episode. Of course, it'll be out on YouTube, all the social media platforms, wherever you're at. Make sure you guys like this stream. If you're watching live, share it as well on all social media platforms. As always, at the NFL with AJL for all social media and podcast content. And you can check the QR code in the corner of the screen as well. What a game. What a game we just witnessed from Colorado and USC here in this showdown. And I really thought this game was not going to be super pretty as we walked into it, right? We saw Colorado last week get the doors blasted off of them 42-6. And I came on the show and said, hey, Colorado has no trenches. Deion's even said it himself. He needs about 7 to 8 more dogs on that team really to get them where they actually need to go. And with Colorado walking into this football game, USC goes up early on. It's 34-7 at one point, and we start to see them run away. And then Colorado comes to storm back in this football game. Off the top, though, Caleb Williams, clearly a great performance, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. The interception Caleb Williams did have in this football game, I honestly got to give credit to Caleb seeing it too late. That's why the interception happened here. Yes, Colorado's defense came up with the turnover, but when you go and look at the replay of that play, Caleb was literally rolling out to the right. And if you would have seen that receiver earlier, that is another busted coverage, open play touchdown for USC. And it felt like every play in this game every touchdown in this game for USC was kind of an ugly Colorado busted coverage as this game went on. Like, we had the crazy scramble out to the left. Obviously, the throw that everyone is talking about, I think it was to Brendan Rice over in the middle. Caleb Williams had a ton of great throws these days, ton of great throws in this game. But you see the busted coverage in the middle on the touchdown. You see a couple of other busted coverages in this game, and you just understand that Colorado, that's something they have to clean up on that side of the football. We've seen the defense not be super great this year. All the points they gave up to Oregon, all the points they gave up to Colorado State. It's really been a shootout in every game of 40-plus points besides the Nebraska game. I enjoyed seeing Brendan Rice out there absolutely get his touches. I thought it was great in this game. We had the best wide receiver of all time, son, facing off against, at the wide receiver position, Jerry Rice's son, Brendan, facing off against Shedeur Sanders, who is the son of the best cornerback in football of all time, obviously, in Deion being on the offensive side of the ball with Colorado at the quarterback position. Of course, Shiloh Sanders in this game. Shiloh didn't play in this game. We'll get to that in a second. You've got Jace Feely with the missed field goal kick for Colorado, son of the former NFL kicker, Jay Feely. I believe he used to play for the Dolphins. So this game just had, so many little nuggets inside of it. You look at Colorado's defense, though, they were able to get to Caleb Williams a couple of times in this football game, and I knew that was going to be the key for them because Colorado coming in, they didn't get to the quarterback a whole lot, and they had people get to their quarterback, and that was literally the main reason why they were not able to come away successful in the Oregon game. Shedeur was literally pummeled in that game against Oregon, and Bo Nix was untouched. But you see in this football game, as they start to come back at the end, there were a couple of sacks that happened in this game throughout the game that was able to help them really inch back into this. I see one of y'all in the chat. Saturday special. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm sure you got the notification as soon as I went live. I didn't do a show yesterday, a little under the weather. It was kind of an awkward week, so I didn't have my NFL picks recorded. We're also going to get to picking every NFL Week 4 game in this show as well, so I can put it out at the end. But I mean, what a football game that Colorado and USC played here on Saturday. Shedeur Sanders was very special in this game. We see Deion. Deion said in the last couple of press conferences, hey, if the ball is in Shedeur's hand, we trust him to get us there. And down there towards the end, Shedeur was making great plays. We obviously saw the day that he had 66% completion. Let me look. I want to make sure I got these numbers right for Shedeur because I don't want to butcher that. He had an amazing day. Let's see. 30 for 45. I thought it was over 400 yards. That's why I stopped myself. 30 for 45, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, completion percentage of 66.7%. And he was only sacked 3 times a day. Credit to Colorado's offensive line for not giving up a ton of sacks on Shador, for letting Shador be comfortable in this game, for not letting Shador really get rushed a whole lot. Yes, he had pressure on him in this game, just like Colorado has all year. But that was a reason that Colorado was able to come back in this football game. That was a reason that they were able to make it look better early on and not go down 21 to nothing like they were against Oregon, able to inch into this football game because of things like pass protection, because of things like being able to get home to the quarterback. Again, I know Colorado had that interception against Caleb Williams, but I think if Caleb sees that play earlier, Colorado does not have that. It would be another busted coverage touchdown, and Caleb's possibly throwing for 7 touchdowns in this game compared to the 6 that he had. Credit to Colorado's offense as well, the way that they were able to chip back into this game. I did have a couple of questions about their play calling as the game kind of went on. We saw a couple of runs up the middle that really was able to let USC kill the clock on the other end. Feels like they could have had another possession or two in this game to really be able to inch them back in. We know Shiloh Sanders didn't play in this game as well. He was ruled out with an injury. Of course, that makes you wonder. Shiloh was, I believe Shiloh coming into this game had some of the least amount of yards given up or passer rating or catches. There was some stat. I don't remember it specifically. I wasn't able to pull it before I got on the show. But the matchup of Shiloh and Brendan Rice was supposed to be absolutely insane. Shiloh not giving a whole lot on the defensive side of the ball. Brendan leading the country or up towards the top of leading the country in receptions, yards, receiving touchdowns. That was a matchup that we were supposed to see at some point, and unfortunately, Shiloh didn't play today. So Colorado fans can possibly feel good about this, right? Like one of your best players in Shiloh doesn't play. Yes, we know again that the Colorado defense has some improvements to make, and we also understand that Shiloh has some improvements to make as a player as well. But not having him, one of their better players in this game, definitely meant a lot. Caleb Williams played his ass off. I thought Coach Prime and Sean Lewis, overall, the Colorado staff had a good football game. You see them able to inch back into this. They outscore USC in the second half 24-17. Colorado has a lot of takeaways from this game they can really ride back home on because it wasn't as bad as the Oregon game. Shador played a lot better against, you can argue, higher competition, against the Heisman winner. They were looking at his numbers on the TV, talking about what he was last year when he won Heisman versus this year. His completion percentage is better, his touchdowns are better, his interceptions are lower, and he looks better as a player. Going or not even going, that was a plus for them. Staying home in this game and hosting USC and having this type of comeback, knowing you just got blown out last week by Oregon, Colorado fans have every reason to be happy in this instance. Because again, me coming in, I was like, all right, we saw last week Colorado and Oregon. That was really the tape. We're getting back on the flight. We're going home. We got USC to prepare for. And we see that Coach Prime was able to do that. He was able to coach his team in that way and get these guys back to a point to where they were playing competitive football again. Of course, they go down early on. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't look pretty. I mean, Caleb Williams was getting what he wanted. Brendan Rice, the other receivers out there for USC, everybody on USC was getting what they wanted. And then here came the Trojans clawing back. Shador Sanders with the beautiful touchdown run up the middle. I love the mentality to just take it right up the middle. He had a couple of nice scrambles in this game as well. Harrison had some nice catches. Omarion Miller had some nice catches. In the second half, 9 catches, I believe, for 196 yards. Absolutely crazy game. We even see the 5-star DB. I want to get his name correct as well. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I don't want to. Cormani McClain. We see Cormani McClain in this game, who is a doghouse for Deion Sanders. We literally have articles and reports about Cormani McClain, a 5-star DB, not getting playing time. Prime said, hey, he's not on time to meetings. He's not studying as hard as these other guys. He said in those terms that he basically wasn't earning his spot compared to what the other players were showing. Well, he's in for this game. He's in place of Travis Hunter, and he goes and makes, a couple plays in this football game. So Colorado had a lot of players that had to emerge. I think Shador grew in this game. Omarion Miller was able to get some nice touches. We see Harrison. We see Weaver. We see Dylan Edwards. We see the defensive side of the ball get home to Caleb Williams a couple of times. I mean, Caleb didn't even see that one defender. I think it was a cornerback blitz. Didn't even see that one defender coming his way. and just absolutely got blown up. That was a little bit of a concern for me. We see them get an interception on Caleb Williams. Caleb trusted his arm too much on that one as well. Not only did he see it late, he trusted his arm too much on that play. What a game from Colorado and USC. Y'all get in the chat, get in the comments, let me know. Wanted to give y'all my instant reaction, my instant takeaways of this football game. And now we're going to go ahead and jump into the week 4 picks for the NFL season, picking every NFL Week 4 game. I didn't want to miss this. I thought about recording a separate episode or even just a separate clip like, today, maybe tomorrow, dropping it in time for Week 4 of the NFL. But let's go ahead and get right into it. I would have picked the Lions over the Packers. The Lions do blow out the Packers. Just a quick takeaway on that, and we will talk about that on Tuesday's show. The Lions are good. I think the Lions are a real team. They showed us that in this game. They were playing in an inferior team, I believe, in the Green Bay Packers. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a Saints fan, but the comeback against the Saints, yes, was impressive, but look what it took for them to have the comeback. They'd been playing hurt all year. And yes, they were at home as well. You see the Lions come in, obviously beat this Packers team. The Packers had played the Bears in week 1, so I wasn't impressed by that. They should have beat the Falcons. Now, the Falcons are an okay football team. I think they're showing some red flags. Obviously, their record says 2-1. We're 3 weeks through the season, but I didn't think, Green Bay was the better team there. I picked Green Bay to win. Lions beat the Packers here, show us that they're real. Just a quick takeaway there. I would have had the Lions there, so obviously I'm 1-0 on the week. I don't have the graphic next to me. I wish I would have had that. Wish I would have made it. But again, wanted to get on the instant reaction, get this recorded for you guys. Falcons at Jaguars, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is going to be a good football game because, again, the Falcons, 2-1 record. They're kind of showing some red flags. We have the Jaguars definitely showing some red flags. Offense isn't producing like it should. The defense finally broke in the last game. I'm going to take the Jags in a bounce back game here. I want to trust the Falcons in a neutral site game. They've been in this position before. I want to trust them in that instance, but I believe more in a Jaguars bounce back game than I do the Falcons coming into this game and honestly just taking home the W. Do the Falcons have the will to take this game home? Absolutely. They're the team that's playing better football right now. But I trust the Jaguars in a bounce back game here. Give me the Jags. Rams at Colts. Colts are a sneaky good football team this year. Shane Steichen is an early coach of the year candidate. I really like what he's doing over in Indianapolis. But Sean McVay is defying the head coaching position. Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Byron Young. Y'all have heard me with the Rams takeaways over the NFL season, how Sean McVay is really coaching up a very young Rams team right now. Shane Steichen's doing the same thing, though. We want to see Anthony Richardson back in this football game. I hope he does play in this football game. Matthew Stafford's not playing too bad this year either. Again, we see the talent on both sides of the ball. Damn, this is such a hard pick. This is seriously such a hard pick. I'm going to take the Rams in this one. Give me the Rams in this football game. I'm going to take the head coaching experience. I'm going to take the fact that I think Sean McVay is just coaching his ass off right now. It's going to be the first game back from injury for Anthony Richardson. If he does play in this football game, I do believe he will. And honestly, I just think the Rams kind of have a better flow going on right now. Colts do have more talent, maybe not by much compared to how the Rams are playing with the level of talent that they have. Give me the Rams in this game, though, but I damn sure don't like the pick. On to the Ravens and the Browns. Two interesting football teams here. We see Lamar isn't really playing his best football so far, but when he is playing great football, he's clearly elite. Deshaun Watson just now bounces back in that game against the Tennessee Titans. Now, yes, that is kind of against a softer Titans secondary and a good front seven over there in Tennessee. I have respect for what they have going on. This is going to be a great quarterback battle. The Browns are at home. Man. Let me see who the Ravens played last week. Let's see. I needed to pull up. The Ravens. Okay, so they played the Colts last week. Give me the Browns here. Give me the Browns. I need the Ravens to be more healthy. What's up, man? Who's not a good coach? Tell me who's not a good coach. I want to know who you think isn't a good coach. McVay? Shane Steichen? Come on, man. I think both of them are very respectable, even with Shane Steichen being a coach early on. Yes, give me the Browns in this game, though. I know the Ravens are still a little banged up. I want to see them get healthier. The Browns, just coming off that game against the Titans, I think Deshaun Watson can have a good game here against this Ravens defense as well. I think the secondary, well, actually, God, I don't know. Nah, give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens in this game. Better defense for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson playing against that Titans defense again. It was impressive because of the bounce back, but the Titans aren't a very, well-respected defense in the secondary. Again, the front seven is good, but I want to see more from Deshaun against better defenses. Vikings at Panthers. Gonna take the Vikings in this game. I know they're 0-3. I know the Panthers are 0-3 as well. Hoping to have Bryce Young play well in this football game if he is able to play. I just think the Vikings overall are a better team. They have more talent. Now, the Panthers defense can be something to be reckoned with as well. Kind of a coaching questionability thing here. Frank Reich, we know, is good, but this team is winless at this point. Kevin O'Connell had a great season with the Vikings last year. They win all their one score games last year. This year, they are winless in their one score games, but I will take the Vikings in this matchup. Bengals Titans, I'll take the Bengals in this one. I think this could be a sneaky competitive football game. We know how the Titans like to play that smash mouth, Mike Vrabel, get everything out of his players type of football. In the Bengals, also, we see that Joe Burrow doesn't play super well in his last game, but he's looking to get healthier. I think once Joe Burrow does get healthy, he had another week to rest. He's coming into this football game. I think he'll have no problem against this Titans defense taking it home. Bucks at Saints. We don't know if Derek Carr is going to play yet. I don't think Derek Carr should play at all. He's a game time decision, but I think we remember when Jameis played with a hurt back last season, and then he ended up being out for an extended amount of time. Saints are in a good position at 2-1. Even if we do lose to the Bucks and go 2-2, I think you give Carr at least another week. If you trust him as a veteran word, he said he wants to, and he says he wants to go. Then let him play. But as the Saints, with the season still being young, I do think that they should keep him on the sidelines. And then you've also got no, not Winston time. I don't want any more Jameis Winston, dude. Not at all. Not at all. What's up, Justin? Hope you've been scoring some nice bets, man, out there on football. Hope you've been staying tapped into the college season. Your Falcons are showing me red flags where I just dropped a clip about it. Got the Bucks as well. Good defense. They're going to bring the pressure on the Saints. The Saints O-line is very porous. Not something that I'm enjoying seeing this year so far. Bucks defense is also solid as well, led by Baker Mayfield, who is doing his best Jimmy G, Brock Purdy impression in terms of just managing the game. Y'all know I'm a Saints fan. We're at home. I'm going to take the Saints in this one. It's going to be ugly. We're probably going to have some sacks on the quarterback, whether it's Winston, whether it's Carr. Cesar Ruiz is out as well. Paulson Adebo is out. Going to take the Saints in an ugly one here. The game of the weekend, the Dolphins and the Bills. Dolphins might be the best team in the NFL right now. They're the second best team to me behind the Niners just because of the way the Niners are coached overall as a roster and the defense that they contain as well. Bosa, the linebacking core. And then you have the Bills that outside of the Jets game, a lot of emotions going there. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Josh Allen thinks he can win the game with his arm. They end up losing in that game. Blow out the Raiders, blow out the Commanders. We see the Dolphins obviously putting up 70, winning a shootout with the Chargers, beating that Bill Belichick defense, winning in different ways. I think the Dolphins are better equipped to win this football game. I trust Tua right now, I think, more than I trust Josh Allen, even though we know Josh Allen has played a couple of great games of football over his last two games. Overall, Josh as a quarterback here recently turning the football over is what worries me. Now we could see Tua. We know when Tua plays against those defenses that are, better than possibly a Chargers that is very porous or obviously a Broncos that is very bad. They haven't played the Bears yet, but in terms of the Bears, we saw with, the Ravens last year when he had his big game, that Ravens defense was not all that it was cracked up to be. And now he's going to be playing against this Bills defense. Bills defense is good. They're very solid. They're one of the best in the league. Yes, they do have some questions at times. They can bend, they can break. They usually bend, but don't break. How will Tua fare out in this game is my question as well. But I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one. The Caleb Williams sweepstakes, aka Broncos at Bears. I'm going to take the Broncos in this game. Could be another ugly one. Broncos just get 70 dropped on their head. The Bears are clueless. They don't know what's going on. Another horrible football season upcoming. Another season where you're going to have one of the worst O-lines. You're going to have the worst defense. You're going to go winless in terms of what you're on pace for right now. Clearly, the Broncos are in that boat. Clearly, the Vikings are in that boat as well. But I think we can all agree that the Bears are the worst team in football right now, so I'll take the Broncos here in this one. Commanders at Eagles in a divisional showdown. I'll take the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. Now, this will be a sneaky competitive game. I definitely think it'll be a sneaky competitive game because the Commanders just get blown out last week. Yes, they beat the Cardinals. Yes, they beat the Broncos. And they're going to be playing a much better team here in the Eagles. The Eagles win a lot in the trenches. They went on the offensive line to protect Jalen Hurts. They went on the defensive side of the football when it comes to getting to the other quarterback. Jalen Carter is playing out of his mind this year. Clearly looks like the best defensive pick. Everyone that did not pick Jalen Carter definitely should have taken him before in the NFL draft. Of course, it depends on what your team needed at the time. But I think the Eagles will win this football game. It'll be a chippy one. It'll be an ugly one. I know the Commanders can hang in the trenches as well. They have a defense that's good. But I think Jalen Hurts and Sam Howell will have a good duel here. Nick Sirianni going up against obviously Ron Rivera, Eric Bieniemy's Coolidge as well. Give me the Eagles though. Steelers at Texans. The way CJ Stroud is playing, you could argue that the Texans could win this football game with a Tank Dell, with a John Mechie, with a Robert Woods. You got Damian Pierce playing well, plugging in when he needs to. CJ Stroud setting some records on a legendary performance so far in terms of rookie quarterbacks in his first three, excuse me, games in his NFL career. Steelers clearly one of the best defenses in football. Now I do think this could really stifle the Texans big time because you look at their schedule. They've played a Colts defense, which is okay. They obviously lose 31-20. They play a Ravens defense who was healthy in week one, so that's kind of like, hey, my pointer there. I know it was week one, but CJ Stroud going up against that good defense, and then they play a porous defense in the Jaguars, or the Jaguars defense becomes porous. He obviously blows them out by 20. But when you go and look at the Texans playing in this game against a Steelers defense who does not have mercy for anybody, that's why I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Raiders and Chargers. This is going to be an interesting game because I feel like the coaching is very questionable for both of these teams. Jimmy Garoppolo is in concussion protocol. He's questionable to play against the Chargers as of right now. Max Crosby is also questionable to play against the Chargers as of right now. That's going to be a key thing in slowing down that defense for them. So with both of those being a thing or intact right now, I'll take the Chargers. They need a win. If it's going to come against any team this season for them to bounce back against, it's going to be the Raiders, who have no takeaways on the season, literally zero takeaways. And one of your best, if not your best defensive player is going to be out. And yes, he can force takeaways, but you need some of that to come out of your secondary as well. Give me the Chargers in this football game. Cardinals at Niners. The Niners saw how the Cardinals just beat the Cowboys last week. The Cardinals come and play very competitively against the Cowboys. Not going to be the same thing this week. I'll take the Niners comfortably in this game, and it could possibly be ugly 35-7, 35-14, but we'll see. Patriots, Cowboys, the Ezekiel Elliott revenge game. Zeke playing his former team for the first time. We've got the Patriots with a smash mouth defense. They just beat the Jets 15-10. I'll take the Cowboys in this game. They're at home. It can be ugly, though, with this Bill Belichick defense. Zeke's returning home. He could have a sneaky good game. Now, of course, the Cowboys could go out there and shut it down for him. But that would just be the Cowboys' luck coming off of a loss to the Cardinals, having Zeke come to your house, run the football right through the middle of you, and then you lose. But I don't believe the Cowboys are going to let that happen because of how they want to bounce back from that Cardinals loss. Give me the Cowboys here. Chiefs and Jets. We've already got rumors of them signing Trevor Siemian, and who knows, by this point, Trevor Siemian might be the starter by the second quarter on Sunday. That's what some people are saying. We've also got the reports of people not being happy with Robert Saleh supporting Zach Wilson. We know Zach Wilson's not a good quarterback. And the Chiefs have everything going right on their side. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift is in the building, hitting it off with Brittany Mahomes. Donna Kelce loves them. Life is good in Kansas City. Not too much to dissect here. I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs in this one, and I think we'll take the over-under on Trevor Siemian possibly being the starter by not by the second quarter, but by halftime. And then we have the Seahawks at the Giants. Monday Night Football, Monday, October 2nd, 8:15 p.m., if you're on the East Coast, of course. I'll take the Seahawks in this football game. It'll be a nice competitive game here. We know the Giants want to have a good game here at home. The Seahawks are a team that they can definitely play competitive against. Now, the Giants could be playing better football at this point in the season, And I think the Seahawks overall are just the better football team when it comes down to it. I like the offense better. Gino and Daniel Jones, very comparable. I like Brian Daboll over Pete Carroll, but I like the way that the Seahawks are playing football right now. So I will take the Seahawks over the Giants. For NFL Week 4, give me the Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Patriots, the 49ers, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Dolphins, the Saints. I'll take the Bengals, the Vikings. I flip my pick from the Browns over to the Ravens. I'll take the Rams. I'll take the Jaguars, and I would have taken the Lions with the game earlier on. Appreciate everybody tuning in to the very first ever instant reaction from the NFL with AJL. We talked to USC Colorado, instant reaction. Colorado tries to make the comeback 48-41. A lot of great points from that game. And I just picked every NFL Week 4 game for the 2023 season. Before we get out of here, y'all please make sure to like the stream, share it wherever you're at, get down in the comments. Y'all been going crazy for me on YouTube. We're blowing through 600 subscribers. I said it was going to be a record month on YouTube, and it literally has been that. Almost 1,000 watch hours from the support of you guys, the audience, the fans. It would not be possible without y'all. At the NFL with AJL on all social media platforms. Of course, the QR code is that beautiful one-stop shop. We'll be checking in with the official episode 44 on Tuesday, breaking down all the NFL games. I'll give you my power rankings. Again, I was a little under the weather this week. Was able to make the Tuesday show happen, but it was just not happening Friday. You noticed I didn't post any content yesterday. Really, that content was going to be dead by tomorrow. So I said, you know what? Let me jump on and give my week 4 NFL picks and also talk USC Colorado. As always, I love you. I need you. And I'll